She wasn't human anymore. I still hear her voice in my dreams, cold and sharp, like the wind cutting through dry grass. It wasn't human anymore. That night, we learned the truth about the princess of Zafira. It started when my older brother, Dimeji, was chosen to be part of her royal servants. Everyone thought it was an honor. In our small village, being picked by the palace meant your family would never know hunger again. But I saw his face the day he returned from the palace, pale and shaken, like a man who had seen the other side of life. He didn't say much, only that he wasn't going back. That same night, he disappeared. The whole village whispered that he had fled, afraid of the strict palace rules. But I knew Dimeji better than anyone. He was brave, stubborn even. He wouldn't just run off. Something was wrong, and I couldn't let it go. A week later, I snuck out in the middle of the night and made my way to the palace. I told myself I'd find out what happened to him, even if it meant sneaking into the princess's quarters. The palace was quiet, too quiet, with the kind of silence that makes your chest tighten. The air was thick, and even the crickets outside seemed afraid to make noise. The princess's chamber was at the far end of the palace, tucked behind a grand, golden door. But as I got closer, the smell hit me, a sharp, metallic tang like blood mixed with something rotten. My heart raced, but I couldn't turn back now. The door was slightly open, and I peeked inside. What I saw still haunts me. There were bones, human bones, scattered across the floor, cleaned white like they'd been picked apart. In the center of the room sat the princess, but she wasn't like the woman I'd seen during the festivals. Her skin was pale and cracked, like dried mud. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark, and her teeth, they were sharp, jagged like broken glass. She was crouched over something, a servant, I think. He wasn't moving. Her long fingers, too long for a human, were digging into his chest, pulling out something wet and red. She brought it to her mouth, biting into it like it was ripe fruit. The sound of her chewing was the only thing I could hear. I must have made a sound because her head snapped toward me. Her neck twisted in a way that shouldn't have been possible, and those glowing eyes locked onto mine. "Another one," she said, her voice low and raspy. It didn't even sound like a person talking. I ran. I didn't think, I just ran. Behind me, I heard her laugh, a cruel, hollow sound that followed me all the way out of the palace gates. I didn't stop until I was back in the village, my chest burning and my legs shaking. The next morning, I told the elders what I'd seen. They didn't believe me at first, but when I showed them the blood on my clothes and the bruises on my arms from where I'd fallen, they started whispering. By the end of the day, half the village was packed up and gone, including my family. The palace guards came the next day, asking about the people who had fled. I didn't say a word. A week later, I heard the princess was dead, but I don't believe it. People like her don't die easily. Now, every time I hear about a royal family choosing new servants, I wonder, what really happened to Dimeji? What is she really doing behind those golden doors? And how long until she comes back?